Okay, so there are four asset classes basically, right? Fixed deposit, real estate, gold, and then stocks or mutual funds, which we basically call as equities. Now, each of these asset classes have their pluses and minuses. So for fixed deposits, the biggest advantage is that it will not fall, right? You don't end up losing money, blowing up money in most cases, 99.9% of the cases. But the flip side is it doesn't grow more than inflation. So over the long term, like 5, 10, 15 years, it's a sure shot way of losing money. Because what is the fundamental reason why people save and invest? The reason is that they want to beat inflation. So if you are purchasing one mango today at 100 rupees, of course inflation is going to make that mango cost 200 rupees say after 10 years, right? So when you save today, you want that 100 to go to more than 200 so that at least you can afford two mangoes 10 years later with the same money that you invested 10 years back. About real estate, the great part about real estate is a big store of value. So big chunk, because real estate is not cheap, like 5,000, it doesn't come at 5,000, 10,000. Minimum investment is 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, sometimes even 25 crores, right? It's a big store of value. Once you invest in real estate, you don't think of selling it very easily, very fast. So you don't end up spending that money. However, the returns over long periods, there are always good times, there are not so good times. Like between 2021 and today, real estate has given great returns. However, between 2012 and 2021, real estate had almost given probably less than 2-3% returns, right? So over the long term, more or less, the returns that we get from real estate are around inflation, except for those parcels of land which, where development happened, some highway came, which was outside city limits, but now today is inside city limits. These kind of arbitrage or these kind of exceptional opportunities only give big returns in real estate. Otherwise, if today you buy a flat in Dadar or Worli or wherever in Greater Kailash in Delhi or whichever, good places in good cities, the returns will probably be near inflation. When it comes to gold, see, gold has given phenomenal returns in the last 2-3 years, right? In fact, last 1 year has been amazing. My opinion about gold is a little more conventional probably, and it's very different. I don't think it's an investment class. I think gold jewelry has to be enjoyed by the ladies of the family. Buy as much as they want, but buy jewelry. Don't buy paper gold. I don't think it's much use. I don't think it's an investment product. So we have to go a little back in history, right? So between 1945 and 1971, the price of gold, right, was exactly $35 per ounce. So after the Second World War, the entire world came together and said that we will price the US dollar against the price of US dollar against gold will be $35 per ounce. Every other currency will have a certain price around gold, around USD, right? So gold was the reference. So for almost 26, 27 years, the gold price went nowhere, zero. So that was not an investment. So now the world abandoned the gold standard. That's why the price went up. We have to also see what the price of gold over the history has been in USD, not just in INR. So in INR, the returns are much better because of depreciation of the currency. But if you look at gold returns in USD, they are not that great. Now that brings us to the last asset class, which has the only way to beat inflation, right? Which is stocks or mutual funds. And why is it an asset class which can beat inflation? It's because you are banking on human ingenuity and human enterprise to make money, right? What is the way to make money in stocks? You buy a good company, the management, the employees, the CEO, and the top management, the owner, work very hard to make the company grow. So there are lots of examples of companies which have grown a lot over 10, 20, 30, 40 year period. And because they are the best in their field and in their domain, they have grown much more than the average company. That is why stock investing will give you phenomenal upside. What is the problem with equity as an asset class? That's the only asset class where the value will actually go down. So if you don't, so two reasons: if you make mistakes, you will end up losing money. And if you have a short-term vision, there is a good likelihood that you will end up losing money in the short term. So that's the downside with stocks.